This is the third and final video in my series on Mayday. The first video was on the mental mindset of calling the Mayday. The second one was on the mechanics actually reaching the radio. And this one is on the parameters on when you would call the Mayday, and a drill designed to put you into those situations where you need to call the Mayday. It was created based on an article that was done quite a few years ago on, again, calling the Mayday, when to call the Mayday. And they made a correlation between Maydays and fighter pilots ejecting from their plane. And what they said was that there are certain conditions that once you meet that condition, there's no longer thinking involved, there's no longer, can I get out of it? No longer messing around with the situation. It's automatically eject, eject, eject. Like for us, the same thing. If you look in the procedures, in procedure 2007, you'll see that there are parameters that when we meet those parameters, it's time to call the Mayday. Think of the fighter pilot. One of the ones I remember reading in there was altitude. And it said that if a fighter pilot, or if the pilot is below 10,000 feet and not in control of the aircraft, automatically eject. No reason to think. Imagine you're at 10,000 feet and you continue to try and get out of it, and the next thing you know, you're in the ground, right? So same thing with the Mayday and firefighters. There should be parameters that we reach so that we know we don't have to contemplate anymore, a debate in our mind. Should we call the Mayday? We know now's the time because we've reached these parameters. Well, this drill was designed around that article to give you a chance to put yourself and your firefighters within those parameters. And it had 4 stations. It had a lost, it had a fall through a floor, it had an entanglement, and then it had a roof collapse. And it's a really good drill. There's 1,000 ways actually to do it, and I highly encourage you, go online and Google or YouTube this drill, and you'll see how people have done it in multiple different ways. And I'm going to give you a job aid or a drill sheet on how I put it together and how I've done it, but there's a lot of variation. So the way I've done it in the most simplest way, I'm going to explain, and it's done with a crew. It can be done with a whole battalion as well. You're going to be in full turnouts. You're going to be SCBA. You're going to be on air with a blacked out mask and your radio on. You are actually going to transmit on the radio. You are going to transmit your Mayday, and you're going to get feedback back from the IC. There is a built-in training scar, and I don't know what to do about it, and maybe with all of you much smarter individuals out there, you'll come up with a way, and that's the emergency button. You can't really push the emergency button, because if you did, each member would push it 4 times, and that would get very distracting for dispatch. That just wouldn't work. So you have to fake or simulate pushing the emergency button, and that is a training scar. And I don't like training scars, but it kind of is what it is. I don't know any other way around it. So what that means is that when you call the Mayday, you're going to call your Mayday, and then you're going to have to simulate, and I recommend that you simulate pushing it and also verbally say, I'm pushing the emergency button. So the way the drill works is this. Again, everybody's in turnouts SCBA. One person's going to be on air. Their crew will be their handler to make sure they don't get hurt. They're also going to be the rescuers. The very first station is going to be the lost and separated from crew. The firefighter goes in and you guide him into a room. It can be a bedroom, it can be a closet. And what's going to happen is they're going to go into the room and you're going to close the door. You go in the bathroom, they hold the door. As soon as they realize that they are lost and separated from their crew, they will call the Mayday. They'll go through the Mayday procedures. Somebody will be on the other side of the radio, act as the IC. They'll acknowledge the radio traffic. As soon as the firefighter's done with the who, what, where, air, then the handlers, the firefighters that are guiding him through, rescues him. They rescue the firefighter, they get on the radio, and they acknowledge we've rescued the firefighter and we're coming out of the building. You then lead the firefighter to a hose line. The hose line gets you through the rest of the scenarios. It also kind of a good chance to practice hose line following, hose line familiarity. So you tell them, we're getting out of the building. So make sure you set the hose line up so that it guides out of the building. The couplings are in the correct position, but instead of going right out of the building, it goes to the next prop. The next prop is the entanglement prop. You can use baling wire, you can use rope, you can use P-cord, whatever you want to use to entangle them. Do a good job of tying them up so that they actually can't get out of it. So they're going to be tangled up. They're going to go through their 30 seconds of trying to figure out if they can get out. As soon as they can't get out, they're going to go through the Mayday procedure. The IC will go through their procedure, who, what, where, air, and then the handlers will then make the rescue, get on the radio, we're coming out, and follow the hose line. The next one, this one's a little more complicated because we don't have the perfect place for it. Go online and look and you'll see some great fall props. This next prop is the fall prop. It's to simulate falling through a floor or falling through a hole. What I have done in the past, not the best, but it does work, is you can go into the day room, you can put 2 mattresses, and the hose line goes over the mattress. On the end of the mattress is a folding table, so that as they crawl up the mattress and onto the table, when they get to the end of the table, it cantilevers over and they fall into another mattress. It's pretty highly simulated. It's not great, but again, it gives the idea. It's kind of fun to do, but be careful with it. Don't hurt anybody. And so that gives them the fall through the floor. Go through the Mayday procedure, rescue, and move to the final prop. And the final one is roof collapse. You can do this a couple ways. You can use a piece of OSB, you can use a piece of chain link fence, you can even use a blanket and pull them down. If you use the blanket, you kind of also have to pull them down with the blanket and do kind of a dog pile. Please be careful. Please don't hurt anybody throughout this drill. Pay attention to what you're doing. Make sure everybody's aware when each thing is getting ready to happen. I do encourage you to put pressure on the firefighter calling the Mayday. And you, as the person in the Mayday situation, let them put some pressure on you. I think it's a good chance to really feel uncomfortableness. It also gives you a chance to find a way to get to your radio when you're kind of pinned. And it makes sure that the pressure still allows them to get to the radio. We don't want to put it in a position where they can't get to the radio. And again, please don't hurt anybody. After they're done with that, you do the Mayday procedures, the clearing of the air, the who-what-where air, and then the rescue, and now you make it out of the building. And then you rotate everybody through. All units, radio silence, Captain 6 shake,
The floor is flat. Get the first hose line out and you falling through the floor.
Since you've already got half bottle of air, I encourage you to then, as a group, find a room where everybody can sit down, put your mask on, and breathe the rest of the bottle out. It'll give you that opportunity to breathe the bottle down, to really see how much air you have, and that uncomfortableness of your air getting lower. It's just, you're already there, you're gonna have to fill the bottle anyways, you might as well have some fun with it. So that's the drill. I will include pictures and some videos and other things to help you kind of guide through the drill. It's a great drill. It's got enough variables that it's something you can do multiple times throughout the year without it being the same. There is no way to take all risk out of this job. All we can do is mitigate it the best we can. And one of the most important tools you have to mitigate that risk so that you can do the job is training. Thank you for what you do every day. Keep training, keep getting better, keep learning, keep doing the job. Have a good shift.